Hey, for this shave, I'm going to be using my Gillette Nacet that I've been using for 52 shaves now, and today is 53. And this with the Karve razor, the Karve Christopher Bradley. We load it by doing this, and I don't want to damage those edges because I want to see how far this blade will go. So just being very purposeful about it. One nice thing about this razor is that those big two posts on the sides here keep that blade perfectly aligned all the time. No need to adjust or anything. So this is a 3.5 inch handle. It's a brass razor, solid brass. It's bead blasted, so that's why it's not mirror finish or anything like that. This is the AA head. And can you see it there in the corner? Anyway, so that's the razor for today. And we have the Gillette Nacet in it. The brush is a golden nib. This is a 22 millimeter bore badger knot, and it's a 3-band. Badger knot, and it is a Silvertip from Golden Nib. They have 2 grades of Silvertip, and this is the premium, my favorite of the 2. Softer tips, about the same backbone. Similar enough in cost, so there's no reason to get the other one unless you specifically like something about it. I'm going to go ahead and soak it. I like to do that with my badgers, and but I will do the world a favor and make sure that you know it's optional. I like to do it for about 3 minutes. I've already put hot water on my Williams mug soap sliver that's in the bottom of the mug. I don't know how long that soap is going to be around. I'm thinking maybe 1 or 2 more weeks, and that's it. So that's why I'm using it. My nose isn't quite up to par, so I wanted to keep using this soap because I didn't want to waste some interesting smelling soaps on a nose that couldn't take it. Here is my lather bowl, and we are ready to go. I'm going to rinse my face off. I decided to soak the puck in hot water to make loading quicker. It just kind of works with my schedule. You can also load it for longer, like maybe 60 seconds if you don't soak it, to get an approximate or equivalent type of load. All right, so I'm going to take and pour off the hot bloom water. This does waste a little bit of soap, but this is a cheap soap. Who cares? Not enough to really matter. $1.50, $1.80, or in this case $1 to last you maybe 2 months of shaves. That's pretty good. So now here's the thing. How much water to leave? I've discovered that Williams prefers to have the brush come in kind of wet. So I lift it up, I keep it vertical, just something I'm testing. It'll stop dripping. Turn it to the side, it'll drip some more because the water is able to gather in a certain area. Kind of wait till the dripping slows, and I'm going to go ahead and shake it a couple times, and let's just go at it. This time I'm going to do, let's just do a 20-second load, and we'll see how that does. So carefully place it in here. We started at the 15-second mark, so we'll stop at 35. And a few more seconds. And there we go. Now, got the bubblies left in the cup. No big deal. It looks airy, doesn't look rich at all. No big deal. One of the secrets to William is to, I've already told you the one, is to come at it with a wet brush. Seems to be the best. And number 2, Don't let that airy stuff fool you. Push through it. Dry bowl, just go. Now this is the shake method was one that I used with a different type of brush. And so it may not be exactly the right formulation of water. But that's why I do this. I measure things like that. And I'll make a note so that when I do this one again with this type of brush, if it is different, then I'll remember and know. It'll start with kind of being airy. Don't worry about it. Just keep mixing. This Silvertip knot is really soft. I like the tips. It does not have a ton of backbone. I'd say it's slightly less than mid-range. I'd say maybe it's a 4 out of 10 in terms of backbone. Maybe a 3. I definitely think some people might call it a 3, but I really enjoy it. Already, we are past that bubbly lather stage, and we've got something that's starting to look kind of reasonable. Go keep on going. Some people said online, just beat the heck out of it. And what I think is happening is we are beating down those bubbles, and when we do that, we create a more creamy type lather. We can look at the peaks a little bit. Something to follow. When you get close, you can squeeze some of the lather between your thumb and forefingers and figure out how much cushion you have. You can compare how your fingerprint ridges feel. If you have a super rich soap, you may not be able to feel the ridges at all. If your soap is too thin, you can easily feel every ridge. Looking good. I think this is a lather that a lot of people don't get from Williams. Now look at the peaks right there on that little outcropping. And sometimes that tells me it's a little too dry with other soaps. Sometimes Williams is a little different than other soaps. But I'm just going to mix on this a little bit more. Looks like this lather is going to be kind of more on the creamy and dense side instead of kind of the slick and really well hydrated side. You can decide what you like better. If you have mainly stuck with the thick and dense and rich side, I encourage you to add more water to your soaps and try that, because a lot of times it'll be slicker, it'll bond with your skin better, and therefore protect you better. Alright, so now it's time for that finger test. Oh, I can already tell a good bit of cushion. I can feel, oh man, I can just barely feel that I have ridges on my fingertips. A lot of people might even argue that you could never get to that point with Williams. And this is the new Williams. They did change their formulation a decade or 2 or 3 ago. The older version was a lot slicker, and the lathers that could generate are much better than these, but this is no joke. This is a dense lather. It doesn't have much sheen, but you don't have to have a sheen. This is a cushiony, luxurious, dense lather. Let's just shave with it. I can always add a little bit of water to my face or to the brush if I need to. And look at the elasticity we've got here. All right. Generally, I might take this lather, add a little bit more water to it. Let's just shave with it and see what happens. Also, oh, you know what? No, I think I'm going to add some more water. Because this razor, I'm using this AA plate, which is a very mild, maybe the most mild plate that the Bradley can use. And I did not get a great performance in the cutting area right here. I'm going for more of a performance lather. So I am going to switch gears, take my syringe, and add about half a teaspoon of water to this lather, and then do some more mixing because we want it hydrated really well. We want it to be nice and slippery on the face. Sometimes the best performing lathers don't take as good of a picture because they're just kind of falling off the brush and that kind of thing. In the wet shaving community, sometimes they call it lather porn, where they take the picture like this, you know, and they put the brush, and it's got the ice cream, the Dairy Queen-like tip at the top, you know, and all that. A lot of times that kind of lather is a little too dry, and guys are missing out. Especially if you're a straight razor user. All right, look, I mean, see, that's even more slick and elastic than it was a minute ago. Now that is more like it. All right, get my face wet one more time. And here we go. Nice soft brush. Feels like I'm rubbing a puppy dog made out of clouds on my face. A lot of times the first lather doesn't do as well as other ones because my oily skin kind of kills it. But then the first lather takes away that oil. I don't do any kind of pre-shave. I just kind of let my first lather do that. And then the second and third lathers will be kind of the stars of the show. Just a one-day beard growth is what we're working with here. And working with the usual hard water. And I just use cold. Now this feels kind of like I need to add a little bit more water to my soap. Let's just shave with it and see. Be a little learning experience. All right, 53rd use of this Nacet blade on a AA base plate for the Karve Christopher Bradley razor. Man, that feels good. No pulling, no irritation. The fact that it didn't cut me as well last time I used this head could be due to the blade. But more aggressive razors have no problem with this very blade. And so I'm wondering, and a lot of times this is true, if it's the technique of the user that's the problem. And sometimes with more mild razors, you have to work a little longer to discover the angle that is the best one to use. But when you discover it, you are rewarded with wonderful shaves that are also comfortable. This is very comfortable for a first pass. Very nice, very smooth. Let's put on the second pass. Left my face just a little wet, since I knew this lather might be a touch dry. Man, this feels good. Enough scrubbing action to, to activate any soap, even hard soaps. You don't have to have a really scrubby brush to work those hard soaps. Even a soft one like this will be fine. May take you a little bit more time, 30 more seconds or something like that. To me, it's not a big deal. I want this comfort right here, and this is dialed right in just fine. The creaminess has arrived, and this feels terrific. Very looking good. Cross grain on my cheeks. Kind of using my cheeks because it's such a known and stable area to refine my angle, find the best angle so that when I get to my neck, I have a better chance at getting it right. Very, very smooth here. There's a playback speed option on YouTube. You don't have to watch this to watch me shave live or in regular speed. Change the speed to about 1.5 or so. You still understand my words. Very smooth. Very comfortable. Third pass. Left a little bit of water on my face again. My face probably benefit from some kind of pre-shave. I don't know. Maybe someday I will. I've heard a glycerin soap is a good pre-shave option. All right. Tons of glide protection right now for this razor. Super smooth. A lot of people just don't know you can get this kind of slickness and glide from Williams. Watching my angle and listening. If I don't feel and hear that cutting, kind of assuming my angle needs some improvement. residual slickness is crazy on this soap. In some ways, it easily rivals the best bases out there, $25, $30 soaps. The rinse. And we're going to go ahead and do the fourth pass as a neck only, which is typical for me. And it looks like that 20-second load was a good idea, because this will be plenty of soap for my neck, and I've still got a pass left, or a little bit more. And I like to have a little bit of margin. I wonder if I could go with a 10-second load. Might try it. Maybe 15 might be just perfect. No poking of my skin for this knot. It's just super comfy. Nice soft tips. They're not gelled or anything, but I think I might not really like most gelled tips. Switch to painting now. And since I have that extra, I can always just go get some. Make sure that I have some habitually, I lathered up my cheeks. Oh well, just kind of mow them down right quick. This one's making a lot less sound. Wonder if I cut it better. Wonder if my angle was just more improved on this side. With such slickness, I just feel like my skin's invincible, and I'm still trying to keep the right pressure, but I just feel like I could almost be reckless with this. But let's not. Want to rinse? Well, again, the reason it wasn't cutting very well is because it just well, vice versa. The reason it was so smooth for most of that, especially at third pass, fourth, was it just wasn't quite getting right to the skin with some of the hairs. Some of them it did. So again, it's pretty much the same result as I got a few days ago. But again, don't know whether it's the blade or this mild head. Sure is comfy though. And for many guys' jobs, that is close enough to where nobody's going to notice. So there we go. But there are, I'd say maybe 20 hairs that just you can see some length on them in this trouble spot area. I can't go against the grain generally. And so that's just, well, you know what? Let's do a touch-up pass just to see. There we go. And let's kind of come at it from one side. Thinking about the angle. And right here, I believe, in this little swirly area on my neck, I'm going against the grain. So rinse that off and see. All right. Well, I figured it out. I came at it with another touch-up pass, and this is just a concave area. I am able to go against the grain in the later passes with this mild head. That's the only razor that I can do that with, because it's so mild. Once I have gone through a couple of passes, it doesn't irritate my skin, and I can, against the grain here is from down here kind of moving up like that, and there's just a very few hairs there left that I can see any length on, and that's above average for me. And so what I did was, since this is kind of in a recess, I pulled it over a little bit, kind of onto a harder area, and then I shaved that against the grain. And that's usually not possible. Usually I generate quite a bit of razor rash, and that was technically a 6th pass in that area. And so the protection of this soap is remarkable, and should not be underestimated, even with the current formula, which is not quite as good as the old one for Williams. And still no irritation or anything like that. And that, those little touch-ups, is why I leave a little bit extra lather in here. So 15 seconds might be just right. 15 be my next try if I do this again. But man, the soap puck is not reducing as much as I thought it might here. Still kicking. It's very thin, but still kicking. So, I mean, it might go 2 months. Wouldn't that be crazy? All right, I'm going to pack up here. So I'm interested in killing this puck of Williams. I'm also interested in killing this, my first Balm that I purchased last year. And so Nivea Sensitive. It's a very good one, but I don't quite need the all the hydration that this offers. I like the original because it has alcohol in it, and I prefer having a little bit of alcohol to combat my oily skin, and also to kind of let me know how my shave went, if there are any micro abrasions that will render a little bit of a sting. But today, I'm using this guy. See how long a life he's got. So another great lather from Williams. Happy all the way around. I was able to go against the grain in this mystery Bermuda Triangle I've got here, which is very rare, and it got me to a good place. So happy about that. I'd be really interested to try this AA head with a kind of a new sharper razor blade, and I bet it'll do wonders. So very happy. I think that's it. I think we're good. I hope this helped you in some way. Take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Have a good night.